Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we will solve an interesting SQL problem which was asked in an SQL interview for business analyst intern. The goal is to find out the count of companies that have posted duplicate job listings on a job portal like LinkedIn. So let me first walk you through the question. What is asking for? Assume you are given a table containing job postings from various companies on the LinkedIn platform. Write a query to retrieve the count of companies that have posted duplicate job listings. So we are given a table called job listing table with the company name as the column name as job ID, company ID, title and description. And we want what question is asking for is to retrieve the count of companies with the duplicate job listings, right? So here the definition of duplicates we can see here is the duplicate job listings are defined as the two job listings within the same company that share identical titles and descriptions. For example, in case 1 here, the 345 with company ID is having the same title of data analyst and same description. So we can consider this as duplicate. Now these are the two duplicate job listings. But what we want here is a count of company. The company ID is 345. So for this, it will give the output to be 1 because what we actually want is not duplicate job listings count but count of companies. In second example it will get more clear. For example, in second table, if we see here with the job ID 248, the company ID 827, and for job ID 149 also the company ID is 827. So here the job listing of business analyst is duplicated in the company 827 itself. Similarly for 345 and 827 again, but for different title. So why this and this is not a duplicate? Because in same company the it should have identical titles, but here the titles are different, like the data engineer and here it is the business analyst. So if we are counting the duplicate job listings, so here there are 1, 2 and 3 duplicate job listings, but it output it is given 2. Now that is because we are now in question we are being asked for count of companies that have posted duplicate job listings and not the total job listings with duplicates. So here 1, 2 and 3 will give the duplicate job listings, and the count of company unique count is 827 because that is having what duplicate job listing, and the count of the company ID with 345. So these two are having the duplicate job IDs. So we will return them. So to solve this question, we will have discuss it can be solved with different approaches. I will be discussing two approaches to solve this question. First would be a simple using group by and having clause, and second using the row number function, a window function that we discussed in our previous video as well. To start with our first approach, what in question what we need to find first here is the duplicate. Step 1 would be to find the duplicate job IDs, and step 2 would be to find the count of companies with duplicate job IDs, right? These steps are to be followed. First, what we will find the duplicate job IDs like 345, 345 and the count of the duplicate job IDs within the company. So let's first let me show you the table. I have created the table. This is the first table. I will give you this in the description box. I am using Postgres SQL. It can be solved in any other MySQL as well. Let me show you the table first. Yeah, so we are given the table, and here it is 345, 345. So what the output that in our first was 1. So let's first, the first step that we said was to find the duplicate job IDs. So let's start with our first step. Let's start with our first step, that is step, I'll write here, step 1 would be to find duplicate job listings, right? So using simple select group by clause, select what company ID, company ID, oh sorry, select company ID from which table? Job listings, job listings, and what you will use a group by clause that I said. So group by, we will group it by company ID, as for to find the duplicate, the condition was given that title and description are also to be same, so we will group it by them as well. Next, we want the count of it, right? So having duplicate count to be greater than 1. So what it will do is having for example, for company ID 345, it will count once and twice, so it is greater than 1, so this will be considered as duplicate. Let's check it, run and check it once what it will give. So here it is giving the company ID to be 345, but in question what is asked is the count of the company ID, and we don't want here the ID, we want the count of companies. So step 2 is to find the unique companies, unique count. So what we will do here is we will add a we will use this as a subquery and give a, we will use the count aggregation function, and based on the company ID to be unique, what we will use is distinct company ID. We can write it, give this as duplicate companies, and what we will do here is this from, and what we will do, we will add this inside, we will give this inside the form. I'll just have to remove this once. So the inner query will give us the company ID, and from those company IDs what we will do is we will get the count of the distinct count of the company ID. We will give this as duplicates. Let's check this. Distinct company ID, so it's showing error in distinct company ID. What must be the error? Okay, it's the silly mistake that I did here. You should be able to debug those as well. Oh, sorry for the mistakes. Let's run it once again. Yeah, so here we are getting the output to be 1. Let's check it for the another table as well that we have built. I have already created the table. I'll give you this in the description. Let's see this. So this is what the table is. Here the count of companies would be 2, as we have discussed, business analyst 827 345, but the count is this. For the same query that we have written, I'll copy it down and try to run for this case. And here the table name I have given is job listing 02. Let's run it. Okay, so I need to be the whole thing. 02. Let's check it now. For this the output should come is 2. So yeah, it is giving the 2. So this was our first approach to find for here also. If I will run the inner query, what we will get is IDs. See, what we are getting here is the ID for which we are having the duplicates. For 827 we remember the business, this 827 was business analyst for 345. So these inner query is what doing is giving us the duplicate job IDs. The outer query will give us the count of company with duplicate IDs, and that count has to be unique, right? So that is why when we run this whole query, it will give us the output to be 2. Now moving towards another approach of using a row number function. So how we can solve this same question using a row number function that we have discussed in our previous video as well. First let's recall what row number function does. So it gives a sequential ranking to the for here duplicates 345 345. So what it will do here is it will give rank 1, and rank 2. For 827 it will be 1, for 845 also 1, and for here also it will be 244. So we can return all the job company ID with row number greater than 1. We will get the output, right? For here also for 827 it will give 1. We will partition it by company ID, right? And also by title and description. So as in definition of it, the company should have considered as duplicate only when the title and description are same. So if ranking will be the row number function will give us ranking 287 1, then to 2, then here also again 1, then 2, for here also 1, similarly 1 and 2. Now we can return uh, similarly that we did earlier the question. It was giving us the result that for the same way, in the same way what we will do here is having count to be what we were doing in this approach was count to be greater than 1. What we will do here is having row number greater than 1, and it will give us the output. So let's try our second approach as well, then I'll discuss it with you how it is giving us the result once again. Let's start with our second approach. I'll remove this one. What I'll create a CT with, I'll name it as ranked jobs, as what we will write inside this. What we need is select company ID, since we are using a row number function, row number, and we need to remember the syntax of row number, the window function. We got over partition by. So what we will partition by? We'll partition by company ID. Let's check the table first. Company ID, title and description. So what we will do, we will partition it by company ID, title and description, so that we could get the duplicate job IDs. Partition by company ID, title and description, right? Let's name it as, we can give it order by job ID, because job ID is unique key, or we can say the primary key of the table. So we will order it by job ID, and I'll name it as roll number, and from the table job listings 2. Let's quickly try to run this. What this query will give us, it will give the ranking, like here for 244 it is giving 1, for 345 as I mentioned it is giving row number 1 2 1 2. But do we need this in our output? No, right? What we need in our output is the count of companies. So we will use this CT and get the required output. Select count of distinct company ID, count of distinct company ID, as I'll give it as duplicate companies. Now from that we have created the CT ranked jobs, where the row number will be greater than 1. We need to return those unique values only, right? Let's check it now. Oh, sorry for the silly mistakes. Okay, let's try to run it again. Yeah, so it is giving output to be 2. So what, let me explain you it once again. The inner query is giving us the company ID, those who are having the duplicate job listings, right? The first step. Now how it is giving us, using row number, it is giving ranking for duplicate 1 2, for here 1 2, then here for 827 also 1 2. Now what, if we will count, if I remove this distinct keyword, let's see what happens. So here the output is coming out to be 3, but is the output 3? No, as I discussed earlier as well. What we want is count of companies and unique company, right? So for that unique value, I'll to get that I have written here the distinct keyword, which is used for getting the unique values. Now if we will run this, then we will get the output. For we can check this query for the first table that we created as well, and it will, I hope it will work for that as well. Yeah. Oh, so I haven't renamed it. So it is giving our output to be. So we have solved this question using two approaches, and both approaches are working well. So that's all for today's video, and I'll, if you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel, and I'll try to bring few more interesting SQL and also DSA questions regularly in my YouTube channel. Thank you.